imagine you're having coffee with one of your friends. We'll use women for an example here. So you're having coffee with one of your girlfriends, and she just got married. And you ask her, "How's the marriage? Newlyweds. How you doing?" And then she says, "Well, it's fine, but I had to make some rules, some laws for him." And you're like, "Well, what are you talking about? What do you mean rules and laws?" "Well, the first law is he can't be out with his friends every night drinking and coming back, after midnight." And you're like, "Well, what else?" And she's like, "Well, I also have to limit his use on those dating apps. He's always, messaging other women and talking to them and, that type of thing." And then you say, "Well, what else?" And, he says, "Well, I had to also tell him that we're going to celebrate our birthdays and we're going to celebrate our anniversary." And you probably scratch your head at that scenario to say, why? There shouldn't have to be laws for this, right? There shouldn't have to be laws for this marriage. And so by way of analogy, that's what St. Paul is trying to tell the Galatians. This whole idea of the law, and we're no longer under the law. And the St. Paul's point in all this is, when you live in the Spirit, you're not under the law anymore, because it shouldn't even be, it shouldn't even be on your mind. It should be like the least of your concerns. Just like in a marriage, you shouldn't have to have the law to say don't cheat and to spend time and to, there should be no laws. There should be already an understanding. But on top of that, when you're in love with someone, you're willing to give yourself over to them. Your life is not about your passions anymore. And I think that's the other point, that he's trying to make. So like in a relationship, it's about the other. It's not necessarily about yourself anymore. And so if you live by that standard of for the other, being a gift to the other, you don't need laws. You don't need laws. Laws are for those that live according to one's passions. Because, our passions are out of whack. And we have to put restrictions on our passions, in the same way that we got to limit ourselves in what we eat. We got to tell ourselves, just take one slice of dessert, not two. Why? Because sometimes our passions are out of whack, and we got to put these laws in place to keep us in check. Just like going on a diet, same thing. I really want to eat. I want this, but no, I'm trying to lose a couple pounds. So we put laws in place. The purpose of the laws is to govern the passions, and St. Paul's saying you're not supposed to live. Now he used the word flesh. We're not living according to the flesh anymore, which means, again, we're not living according to our own self-serving needs. That's why the law was in place in the first place, to govern that. But no, you're in the Spirit now. And then so in today's first reading, he says, well, how do you know if you're living according to the flesh and to the Spirit? Well, he gives a whole list of things here. Again, it's not an exhausted list. There's obviously more things. But you can see when you talk about jealousy and selfishness and envy and drinking bouts, they're all about what? They're all about just our main goal and rule in life is about just serving on one's own needs. And he says, well, if you live in the Spirit, you'll be what? It's more of a state of being, right? Love and joy and peace, patience, kindness. It's a good, especially that second part there, it's a good examination of conscience for confession. Is there love and joy, peace, patience, kindness, self-control, gentleness? Are those things present in our life? Those are the fruits of the Spirit. Those are the fruits of one where life is now about serving God and serving man, and not about serving oneself. And so again, it's not like as if St. Paul's getting rid of the law, but he's saying like those who live in the Spirit surpass the law, because again, we live not according to one's own needs. May God bless you.